Everybody get ready, because the trumpet about to blow. Get ready, everybody get ready. Get ready, everybody get ready.
This is KLAS FM, the station where you get God and sports. We broadcast on the 89 frequencies on your FM band and online at omegaklas.com. Please continue to be blessed and enlightened. Gospel and sports sensible.
Practice respiratory hygiene. Make sure you and people around you follow good respiratory hygiene. This means covering your mouth and nose with your bent elbow or tissue when you cough or sneeze. Then dispose of the used tissue immediately. Droplets spread viruses. By following good respiratory hygiene, you protect the people around you from viruses such as cold, flu, and COVID-19.
Blessings. Have you been blessed by the Real Talk Show with Bishop Manning? Well, you can listen to the Real Talk Show Mondays to Fridays, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the Omega Radio app. Just go to your app store and look for Omega Radio, or listen live on the Omega Church Broadcasting Network website. That's www.omegachurchradio.com. You can also watch on Facebook at Omega Church. On YouTube, you can watch the live church service at Omega Church or Omega Radio. You can also call us at 876-319-1148 or 876-613-9129. The toll-free number is 877-494-0253. That was a paid advertisement by Omega Radio.
Good morning. Welcome to Spot On, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica, from the beautiful island where we say we little but with Talawa. This is the People's Program, the People's University, and the People's Parliament. It is March 4, 2024. Great to have you today. And coming up right now, yes, is Get Justice.
We want justice. We want justice.
You have been asking for justice. Well, Get Justice. The Ministry of Justice presents Get Justice, a radio feature focused on giving Jamaicans information on how to resolve their conflicts. The series will highlight the justice services of the ministry to include social justice, estate planning, legal aid, and expungement. Join the discussion by calling in or participating via their social media pages at MOJ Official JM on X, formerly called Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Get Justice with the Ministry of Justice every Monday at 10 a.m. on KLAS FM.
We facilitate good relations.
Welcome to Get Justice, brought to you by the Ministry of Justice, where we discuss justice services available in Jamaica. Today we are joined by a representative from the Public Law, Restorative and Preventative Justice Unit. Listeners, you can participate in the discussion by joining the conversation on the MOJ social media pages at MOJ Official JM via Instagram, X, and Facebook using the hashtag GetJusticeJA, as well as call and have your comments and questions read and answered during the program. Of course, our number is 876-968-8117. That is 876-968-8117. Today we have Administrator in the Public Law, Restorative and Preventative Justice Unit, Mrs. Phyllis Buchanan. Let me check to make sure if it's Buchanan or Buchanan. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning. How are you? It's good to be sharing with you this morning. It's actually Phyllis Buchanan. Well, my husband says Buchanan. Some say it's Buchanan. So
what you said it?
I just say Buchanan.
Buchanan. All right. I'm going to say Phyllis Buchanan. You have to call your name how you want to call it. Yeah, man. Great to have you.
Not a problem.
And welcome to the program, Mrs. Buchanan. Now, a recent news report spoke to justice of the peace who was arrested and charged with the offenses of fraudulent conversion and engaging in a transaction that involves criminal property. Now, let me ask you, I want to be a justice of the peace. Vernon, this
Okay.
should be, what do I do? What do I have to have?
So, if you want to be a justice of the
Mm,
peace, Vernon, it's easy. Once you're a Jamaican citizen, you live in Jamaica, you
yes.
work in Jamaica, one thing we consider is that the person must be of sound integrity. That's very integral to becoming a justice of the peace.
Oh, integrity,
So,
I
you
see.
must be at least 23 years of age
Mm-hmm.
and, of course, be involved with the community. We expect persons to work with their community, be able to serve across the different parishes because a justice of the
Oh, so you
peace is no
serve, you
longer a
must serve. I see.
yeah, it's an island-wide jurisdiction that the JPs have now. So you're not confined to a parish. Well, only for judicial functions, like if you're serving in the courts,
Yes,
that
yes.
is confined to the parish in which you are registered. But otherwise, you serve island-wide. You can sign documents,
Really?
give
Okay.
recommendations. Yeah, man. You can be involved in different communities. For example, suppose you live in St. Catherine and you work in Kingston. And
Mm-hmm.
let's say you even belong to a club in Kingston, right? While you may not live there, you can serve in Kingston, you serve in St. Catherine just the same. You're a justice
Okay.
of the peace for Jamaica.
And it's plenty work?
Oh, well, we don't call it plenty work, but yes, it means that a JP shares with the public from time to time. Some
Yes,
visit
yes.
the prisoners, they visit lockups.
Okay.
Yes, JPs visit lockups. They ensure that the prisoners are treated fairly. They make a report to the custos. And you know that JPs are required to provide an annual report to their customers each year, so at least they're able to tell the different things that they do.
I, oh, what a thing. So there's accountability.
Yes,
No,
because they have to ensure that they're really serving and giving valuable service.
I'm sure I heard somebody say, Vernon, I need to earn a little money. I can turn justice of the peace and get a little money.
Oh no, Vernon,
Oh,
no
Lord.
such thing.
No such thing.
No,
Okay.
one of the key factors is to know that the services for justice of the peace is free of charge. You're not to take any money. You're not to take any reward from the public. It's a voluntary
But
service.
there,
If
I
a
can
person
tell there's a reward. We do good follow you. So.
But I understand that, but
Yes,
it's not recommended that you take any reward.
yes. But for you to do good, I will tell you at the JP, you're going to find good follow you. That's my philosophy
Most
that I have.
definitely, good will
Hmm.
follow you, and you might get more work. Because once you're doing good service, persons is going to recommend this JP, and others will come to this JP. So you'll find that their JPs will do a lot of work.
Mm.
Persons recommend them, so they're always going to be serving. We want to encourage all the JPs to get involved so that persons know you. One of the things that we don't want to hear are persons saying, I don't know any JP. I live in this
Yes, yes,
community
I've
and I
heard
don't know
that.
any
Yeah,
JP.
I've heard
We
that.
don't want that. So what we're trying to do now is to ensure that the island has enough JPs. We have over 10,000 JPs right now
But
who are
that's
registered in
2.8 million
Jamaica.
persons. That still don't sound a lot. So you need to know your JP,
No,
yes.
man, we are working now to increase the jurisdiction of the JP to increase the numbers. So,
Mm.
what we want to do is to ensure that we have at least one JP per every 100 citizens. So, once we
Oh.
get there, we'll feel that we are good.
So
So,
you
we are
have too
still
much burden
encouraging
on
persons.
probably one or two JPs. I see.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
We want persons to apply. So right now, if you're a Jamaican citizen, you fit the profile, you're a person of sound integrity, you're at least 23 years of age, you live or work in Jamaica, you're involved in your community, you want to serve as a JP, you don't have to be recommended by a group of persons. All you have to do is go to the Ministry of Justice website, moj.gov.jm, download the application form, fill it out, submit it to the customs of the parish in
Mm.
which you live or work. You present it with two IDs certified by a JP, a Minister of Religion, or a senior police officer. You submit it with two recommendations. The customs and an advisory committee which consists of the custodian of the parish as the chairperson, the senior parish judge, and the senior police in charge of the station. Those are the persons who comprise an advisory committee that is constituted in each parish. So this person would consider the the application, and these persons would submit these names to the Minister of Justice, who in turn will recommend these persons to the Governor General for appointment.
Now we hear all the while, we want justice, we want justice. Now we hear we can't get justice. But persons are also bawling for peace. We want peace. I always say if you don't have peace, you can end up in pieces. And I understand, is it true that the JPs have a role to play in that too?
Oh yes, justices of the peace are encouraged to foster peace and harmony. That's what we are promoting,
That's the
right?
justice of the
I'm so
peace.
sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we are promoting right
Yes.
now: peace and harmony in
Peace
justice.
and harmony. Why?
So we have several programs that JPs are involved in. They are involved in the restorative justice programs.
Yes.
They are mediators, and they are child diversion facilitators. So in this way now, they can help to meet with community persons and ensure that justice is served. And what we're encouraging is that persons have easy access to justice.
Boy, so we have justice now. Now they're working on for peace. What a thing. For those who have just joined me, you're listening to Get Justice, brought to you by the Ministry of Justice. We're talking to Mrs. Phyllis Buchanan, Administrator from the Ministry of Justice. Of course, the number to call is 876-968-8117. And of course, listeners, remember that you can participate in today's discussion via social media, or you can call in to have your questions answered. Our numbers, I'll give you the number already. And also, you can share your comments. Yeah, you must participate in them, man. Yeah, man, share your comments and questions on their social media pages. That is Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and their the handle is what? MOJO.
Official
No, it's
JM.
MOJ, official JM. Right. And the hashtag is Get Justice.
Get justice. That's
JA.
correct.
All right, we have another 4 minutes. So, would you tell me more about some of the developments? I know that you've mentioned about the justices you have across the island, but tell me how well is it going? And well, you have mentioned that the JPs they assist in terms of looking at the prisoners, how they're being treated, the prisoners, and that is good.
Right. Also, justices of the peace, as I said earlier, they are mediators and they're involved in different programs. And also, we have several justices of the peace sensitization across the parishes
Right.
that the JPs attend. Last month, we had one in Hanover for the three parishes of Hanover, Westmoreland, and St. James. We had almost 300 JPs that came out and attended, and they get information that they can take to the community
Right.
to assist persons, to give counsel and advice. Sometimes you have persons who are like the portees that they process. They apart from signing documents for persons, that they also sign bail bonds and so on.
Oh, bail bonds, yes.
Right, they sign passport forms, they sign recommendations for children going to
Oh,
school.
I guess we all know
people
about the
looking
passport
jobs.
form. Yes. yes.
So they are very much involved in the community. And what we try to do now is to encourage justices of the peace to get involved island-wide, because they don't have to serve, as I said before, just in their particular
Right,
parish.
right.
So they can serve island-wide.
Now, suppose, well, I really should know who are the JPs in my area, but suppose I need now to make contact with one. How can I make contact?
All right. So that's how the ministry comes in now. We provide a listing of the JPs by parish on our website.
Really?
So person-
Oh, well,
yes, man.
Not just, you come here and teach me too. Well,
Yes,
easy.
of course.
What-
MOJ.
Well, I know, been a fast like, MOJ,
Yes. MOJ
Right.
dot
Dot
GOV
dot
dot JM.
JM. You got that.
that's
You have
the
your pen. This
website.
is the university. Get your pen and paper out quickly. Come on, you get it now. Come on. Pen now, right? Lord have mercy. www.moj.gov.jm. No, you don't
That's
need to write it because it's easy to remember.
Yeah, it's so easy.
And you need to tell other persons to do that, to other organizations. To make it
Right.
easy. So when you go on that site now, where do you go now to
So just go on the services and click on Justice of the Peace. So the information is there. There's also the Ministry of the Justice of the Peace application form
Yes.
that persons can download. So if somebody's listening now, like you say, you want to be a JP, that person wants to be a JP, that person can actually download the application form, complete it, and submit it to the custos in the parish in which you live or work. And if you want to know where to find the custos, there's a listing of the custodies also on the website.
I'm going to make a little suggestion, but boy, I know so fast. I don't mean fast in the Jamaican sense. By the time I log on, I see one agent they want to talk to me already. What a thing on a
Okay.
boss here show off. My wow. So when you go to the site there, an agent comes on and they'll talk to the business just like you can even ask them questions about the
Yes. Yes, we do have that. So you can just chat with them and get the feedback that you want.
really that's beautiful. Now I was trying to go to let me see, I trying to go to the services, but I think is you guys are too fast. But let me see if the system comes. So when you go to
Yeah.
services now, you see the list of the
So I will say a list of services, and you can just click on Justice of the Peace if that's what you want. If you want Notaries Public, you can click
all right.
on it.
After we all know, guess what? Just give me a tip for the week, and we have to
All
leave this.
right.
Thank you.
Okay, so the tip for the week is be calm, remain professional and unbiased. Know when to take a break if your emotions are high. That's your
Thank you
tip
very
for
much. You have a wonderful way. You really teach me a whole lot this morning and my listeners. You have been listening to the discussion with Mrs. Phyllis Buchanan, Administrator from the Ministry of Justice. This has been Get Justice. Join us again next week at the same time for another episode. I'm Vernon Darby. Soon come back. Don't move.
And now we have Mr. Rohan McNally, manager of the Three Angels Pharmacy. Now, Mr. Mac, we've been hearing a lot of good things about Three Angels Pharmacy. What is it that makes the Three Angels Pharmacy so unique?
Well, you know, at Three Angels Pharmacy, we offer fast, friendly, and efficient customer service. We give back to our community. We offer counseling, blood pressure checks, cholesterol checks. We do photocopying, printing, faxes, and if we don't have it, we'll get it for you.
Thank you, Mr. Rohan McNally, manager of the Three Angels Pharmacy. For further information, call us at 625-5584 or 295-7469. Three Angels Pharmacy, located at shop number 7 Caledonia Plaza, 7B Caledonia Road, Mandeville.
Hurt less with Pharma Joint Flex. Taking Pharma Joint Flex daily helps to repair, replenish, and revitalize worn, damaged cartilage that causes joint pain. Do you suffer from arthritis and chronic joint pain? Then Pharma Joint Flex is the remedy for you. Our all-natural formula contains glucosamine and chondroitin, ingredients for joint repair, so you can get relief. Ask your pharmacist or doctor for Pharma Joint Flex, distributed by Massey.
At MOJ, Ministry of Justice, come access quality service to keep order within the nation. We facilitate good relation. Legal aid to your pocket. A little is child diversion for you to need expertise. Victim service, we help you cope with grief. Restorative justice, build back the peace. No matter where you come from, how we say justice for all Jamaicans. MOJ, Ministry of Justice. Come, access quality service.
MOJ, taking justice to the people of Jamaica.
Welcome back. Yes, you're listening to Spot On, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica, in the beautiful country in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. Yes, when we talk about Jamaica, we say we little, but we Talawa. Coming up right now is Be My Guest. And of course, we have on the line, and I don't feel a way giving all the titles because she deserves it, the distinguished servant of the people, Winsome Callum. How you do, my love?
Hi, good morning, Vernon. I am well, thank
And don't
you.
tell me about
And
your humble or
good
anything like
morning.
that, because you deserve it. By the way, your position is Manager of Public Relations. I'm trying to get your correct title.
No, it's Director Corporate Communications.
Director. Well, I have to give you a national position because I think you have done so well. Like you're here in your own capacity, but I know you're going to tell me that you're also representing the company. But you have seen a company which has gone through changes, have had to make difficult decisions. I remember even reducing the offices as a difficult one to help to cut cost and so on. They have introduced apps, you have introduced prepaid system and so on. Quite a number of things. And I'm telling you, if you and your staff did not communicate effectively, it could have been a disastrous affair. And therefore, I think it is good that someone like you, with the experience that you have, should share your knowledge with the rest of us. Because I'm telling you, I have to deal with quite a number of persons across the island. And when it comes to communication, it is lacking nationally in the public and also the private sector. And I'll tell you that you and your staff have done, because JPS, I will love for customer, you learn that and everything because JPS. But let me tell you something, nobody can say that your team that you have not communicated effectively. And I think you're so big now that you need to become a lecturer so you can lecture the rest of us. Great to have you again with some.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And I didn't say it because I like you, not
So-
say it because it's the honest truth I'm talking. I'm serious.
Well, the truth is we have a very demanding public,
Yes.
and we have a responsibility and an obligation to communicate with our very many stakeholder groups. And while I accept that we have done well, I will also say that there's so much more to
To
be
be done.
done.
Right, right.
So we constantly are seeking to do better, to improve, and we take feedback from our customers very, very seriously. So we literally, as part of our communication improvement, we do surveys.
Mm-hmm.
Every quarter we do a survey to just get a sense of whether the communication is working or not.
Right.
What are people's preferences? Because people change, their preferences change from time to time, so we don't take anything for granted. And so we intentionally go out to get information to see how we can improve our communication. And this is as important as the research we do to see how we can improve our service to customers. So they go hand in hand.
That is very good to hear. Now, I've brought you here too because we've been having some bad cases of poor communication. And and I say you don't have to comment on that because you don't want to come here to comment. But I will tell you, even with the last election exercise that we had, persons complained bitterly about communication. I must tell you that before that, I wrote, I spoke, and I said, I see that being a challenge. And that's why I called you in the first place, hoping that everybody would listen. And when you talk about your level 1 and level 2 and level 3,
For the crisis communication.
exactly. I said to her, after everything last week, I said, you see that now? JP should have sent me some 1 second, mate. I'm being terrible. I'm serious. Good. Now, I want you to expand on what you talked about last week in terms of the stakeholders and probably could look at also, because you use various media. Tell us about that, the benefits of each one, so we can learn from Winsome Callum, Director, Public Relations. I'm sure I saw something you typed. It's Director, Public Relations.
It's Director Corporate Communication.
Right. Corporate Communications. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
go ahead.
one of the first things that we have to do as communicators is to find our people. We have to determine who we need to speak with, who is the audience that we are trying to reach. Sometimes it's everybody, and that's when it gets really challenging.
Yes.
Because not everybody receives information in the same way.
Yes.
In terms of how you speak or how you write or how you present the information. And obviously, not everybody receives information via the same channels. You have persons who will read a document, where you have others who will watch something visual on TV or on a digital platform. or you might have someone who is more prone to listening to the radio. So you
Yes.
have to figure out who you want to speak with and how you will get to your audience and what exactly do you want to say to this group of people. That's going to be very important. At the end of the day, what do you want to say and what do you want to achieve from that communication, that interaction? If it's just to build awareness, fine. How do you know if you're succeeding? If it is to get them to act, to take action, how will you know? It could be they will probably change their behavior towards a particular activity, or they may purchase your product or service, or you might see a reduction in complaints. So you have to determine what it is that you want to achieve through your communication. Now, crisis communication is there's always room for improvement, which is why I had said earlier when we spoke last week that one of the things with crisis communication is that you have a plan, you work the plan, you improve the plan, and you work the plan again because there's a continuous loop of improvement when it comes to crisis communication. Crises will happen. It's just the nature of life. Crises will happen.
Even in nature.
Uh, so you have to plan ahead how you deal with
Say,
crises. That's
prepare,
that's a principle.
failure to prepare, prepare to fail.
Well, you have to prepare because well, if you don't have a plan,
Yes.
then you will
And there's
accept
a saying for
anything that
that, you know.
comes
If
your
you
way.
fail to plan, then plan to fail.
There you go. There you go. So I don't know how in depth you want me to go in terms of the communication planning, but ahead
What I'd
of
love to
your
is
crisis.
share even generally that you can sensitize people because I'm getting the impression that persons do not understand the importance of communication. There's too many confusion in the land in terms of even organizations communicating. So, what I'd love you to do is to sensitize the nation about the importance of communication. Is that you need technical people to do this, but you don't need a technical person or a qualified person to communicate to the stakeholders
Okay. All
or
right. So
communicate with.
communication at the end, I mean, at the end of communication, at the end of the day, communication is critical for any organization to perform. It's as simple as that. Communication is important. It is the lifeblood of any organization. It impacts productivity. It impacts how your customers are served. It impacts the how your employees are engaged. It impacts the how you're perceived by the public. Communication is so critical, and despite the how your organization is performing, you might be doing very, very well, but if you're not telling the story, nobody knows. If you're not engaging employees, then you find that your productivity will fall, or you might not have the kind of team dynamics that you need.
That
So
is,
you have the
yes.
operational performance that is critical, and the people who work in HR, people operations, they understand, and it's important for them to understand the importance of communication to engage your people. And it's not just the internal communication, it is also the external communication. Now, when it comes to your internal communication, there are many layers of communication that you have to think about. You might want to think about, okay,
I
you
tell
need
you
to
what,
send out a
hold
message.
that point because that is something we need to get into and go into depth. Internal communication. So, let's go for the break. So hold that point and we come back. We'll continue from there. You're listening to Spot On with Vernon Darby coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. Good morning to our friends in Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Florida. It's great to have you and those on the internet who are listening. All right, I'm your friend Vernon Darby, and of course, Winsome Callum is here with me, director there, corporate communications at the JPS. So come back, don't move.
Need to spruce up those clothes or take a break from the washing? Then visit New Look Dry Cleaners and Launderers at 120 Red Hills Road, Kingston 19, or Shop 23 Manor Park Plaza for speedy service and the very best prices. Everything will look like new. Be part of the thousands of satisfied customers. Call 925 9464 or 931 1305. Get the best look at New Look.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
With so much to do in one location, make Mega Mart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy, all in one amazing location. My Mega Mart, the best value by far.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
Welcome back. Yes, you're listening to Spot On with Vernon Darby, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica, the beautiful island in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. Yeah, the island where we say we little but we tallow. And of course, my very special guest is Winsome Callum, Director, Corporate Communications, a lady who has been in the field for many, many years. So if you're a manager, director, or board member, or even a worker, we're having a very informative discussion about the importance of communication. And I think what we're learning here, we can take that with us to our companies, to our groups, NGOs, and I'm sure that the information will help us to improve how we operate. Winsome, you're talking about internal or communicating with your internal stakeholders.
Yes. Now, this is probably the most important communication of all. Not only because proper communication internally will ensure that your business runs properly, but once you have informed and engaged employees, they can be your biggest and best ambassadors. When you're doing internal communication, it's important that you recognize that you have different employees at different levels and who need to be engaged differently. You may want to engage with you have to recognize, for example, that you have leaders, you have senior executives, you have line staff, you have persons who are unionized, you have persons who work in the field, you have persons who work on the front line, and some may have different communication needs. For example, the persons who are on the front line constantly serving customers.
Right.
They may not, their schedule may need to be adjusted or created in such a way to allow them time to engage with the communication, whether it is through information that you share on the intranet or by participating in meetings. So you don't just send out bulletins and leave it up to people to figure out when and how to engage with their bulletins. You have to ensure that your communication gets to your team members where they're at. No, it's one of the
by the way, let me ask you this now. Sometimes we just put up the notice on the note. Let's take a look at more in detail because internal communication sometimes is a challenge. We can put things on the notice board. We can send out individual emails. Now they're using these WhatsApp groups and so on. You can tell persons personally. Tell me about the different ways of informing or communicating with your internal stakeholders.
Well, there are many ways, and you just have to get really creative with the communication. Nowadays, it's limitless what you can do with the technology. So you find organizations like ours. We will have webinars. We even created a TV show at one point to really bring the information alive, to engage with employees, to have conversations rather than just send out a flat bulletin. We have digital screens in the offices that have the information available so employees can get this information as they go down the stairs, as they stand waiting for the lift, as they're in the lunchroom. So you might want to package the information to ensure that it's readily available to employees. However, what we have found is that the best way of ensuring that your staff gets the information is by cascading it down. And by that I mean through the leaders, through the managers, the supervisors, because you send out information, you have no way of knowing or ensuring that every team member gets this information, even if you send it in WhatsApp groups.
Oh, that I was telling about the WhatsApp group. I find that to
they
be
work.
not a good way. It works, but guess what? The person probably missed it when it was sent out, and the person probably don't check the WhatsApp group, and that message will probably scroll down. And if they have disappearing message set up, then that message would have disappeared by the time they get to it. So I find that to be a drawback with those groups.
It is. And not everybody engages with WhatsApp messages the same way. Some
And I tell you
people read
another
them
thing that I found
instantly.
out. There are many persons take WhatsApp to be very personal and to be a part of a group
Yes.
where people chatting, people business and everything. They find it quite disgusting to be a part. So that's something that persons have to think about. That if you have a WhatsApp
Well,
group, you have to make a decision.
Well, you have to set rules for your WhatsApp
Right,
groups,
right.
Especially the ones that you have in the office,
Yes.
because we have WhatsApp groups that are specifically dedicated to particular activities, and they don't allow for what you just described in terms of people chatting stuff that are irrelevant or,
Right.
or not appropriate. So we don't really have that challenge in the general organization, the WhatsApp groups.
Oh, by the way, I was
However,
point another thing too.
found-
Sorry to interrupt you, but there's another groups are limited, I think, to 256. But you have communities now, which is quite wide, can have far more persons. That's another challenge with the
Yes. And the information, the WhatsApp groups, they give you the advantage of getting information out real time.
real time, right?
One of the reasons why we have to set rules for the WhatsApp groups is because we don't want important messages to be missed. For example, if you have a crisis and you need to alert your team members via WhatsApp, you do not want them to have to wade through a whole bulk of irrelevant chats to get to the critical information. So they know that once the administrator or somebody posts in this group, it is specific to this particular issue,
Right.
so they don't miss it. So that's
And
very, very important.
let me add another
to
thing now.
set rules.
With the broadcast groups now, that is effective because the person would get the message individually. So you have two types. You have the one where you can put it in the group so everybody can respond, but then you have the broadcast group now where only the administrator can send out a message and it goes to each person individually, so you definitely can't miss it.
Right. So you decide what group works best for your team
Right,
or your
right.
teams. What we have found though, and this I encourage, is that you have, as much as possible, you have face-to-face conversations with your team members. We recommend once per week from a leadership perspective, but some organizations are not set up to allow for that. Why is it necessary to have these face-to-face engagements? And when I talk about face-to-face engagements, ideally this is having senior staff, so you can get a sense of the body language and everything. But
Yes.
if you have to use the Zoom or Teams or another kind of platform for these quote unquote face-to-face meetings, then use them. Why? Because the conversations are important. You may send out a bulletin and persons want to talk about it. They may
Yes,
have
yes.
questions about it. So try as best as possible, managers, leaders, supervisors, team leads, as much as possible, try and have conversations with your team members as groups and as individuals. It's very, very important to have those conversations. So you might be using all of the other platforms that are available: bulletins, notice boards, WhatsApp
Yes,
groups,
yes.
digital screens, but ensure that you listen to your people, you talk to them, and you have opportunities to see them in person, so that there's so much that can be gleaned from non-verbal
Oh
communication
yes.
when
Oh
you
yes.
when you're in the same room with your staff members
Because
that you wouldn't
sometimes, you
get
know,
if you just
persons
send
are
them
not
an email.
willing to be verbal in terms of what they think, but just a little look, a twitch, head turn away. you can see on the face just make up because they didn't agree with me at all.
That's right. And in some organizations, you have employees who work on the road, they're in the field.
Yes, yes.
And so you have to make special arrangements for them to be engaged to get information. So sending out emails might not work for that particular group.
Right.
So if you have a diverse set of employees, you don't want to send out emails and say, I've communicated. You want to make sure that you tailor the message, the packaging of the message to the different groups in your organization. It may take a little bit longer, it might require a little bit more resources, but it is worth the investment. Not only will the employees appreciate the fact that you've thought about them and you've packaged the information just for them, but as I said earlier, your employees can be your biggest and best ambassadors,
What
and
a
they
thing.
can share your information with the
Yes,
people
yes.
that you come in contact with.
And by the way, is that only wearing the uniform makes them good ambassadors about how they talk about the organization. Yes.
That's right. And your engagement of them in terms of how you communicate with them
Yes.
can help to determine whether they represent you well outside of the organization.
Because if you treat them well, like I will tell you, Winsome, I'm giving you feedback now. When I go on the road, if I buck up any JP staff and I mention Winsome's name, all I go, yeah, where Winsome, man? Winsome is this. Yeah, man, Winsome. Yes, I'm giving you feedback. No, that's true. And I buck up your people on the road.
Thanks for that feedback.
Oh, yes, oh, yes.
Thanks for that. And generally, I mean, it's always a work in progress, Vernon. It's always a work in progress. What is important is that you need to be committed to making the improvement where it's highlighted that there's a gap or there's a weakness. And it's one of the things that we're committed to in terms of our external and internal communication. We know we're not perfect, and we're very, very open to feedback, and so we act on that feedback. As I said earlier, getting feedback is an integral part of what we do in communication. And if you're dedicated and deliberate about growing and improving, then you will intentionally seek feedback.
Could I give another
As
feedback?
we speak about,
and I'm giving it public
yes,
because you need to be told. And I don't think I've told you enough. Audrey, for example, I mean, all the staff basically, but I think of Audrey, for example, when she comes on air, you have some PR persons, they come on, they argue, they're defensive. Audrey, and even yourself and the other persons there who are in your team, they will just say, I'll have to check on that. Or they say, we shouldn't do that if that is so. They don't jump and be defensive. So that is what I love, and I think we need to pass that on to other companies, that you don't become defensive. Or one person was talking, and they kept on saying the public need to understand. And probably I'm wrong, but I didn't like that. The public need to understand, and I'm going to throw it back at you. You need to understand that you need to enable the public to understand. If they don't understand, it's because you are not understanding enough and sharing enough with them, so they don't understand. I hope I've not confused the whole nation.
You make a good point. You do make a good point, and it's one of the things that we have to consider at my company.
Yeah.
We have a responsibility, and every day we get this feedback that we need to do more to educate. So there's always more that can be done, and we accept that. We recognize that we're not, we're definitely not where we ought to be.
But tell another problem though, which you must understand. You must understand.
So the choice of words will actually trigger a
reaction.
response.
But let me tell you something.
So,
if myself you tell me something today now, when someone tomorrow I forget. So guess what?
And that's why you have repetition, the importance of repetition.
So you have to keep on telling us.
Yes. And what we find,
you only have 2
Vernon,
minutes,
is
I
that
only have 2 minutes left.
what we find is that the people engage with information when it becomes relevant to them. So we at JPS, we become background noise a lot of times, and we keep talking about something. For example, we might be talking about what the requirements are for getting new service. If this is not relevant to you, you will not pay attention to it, you will not take notes. And then when you 2 weeks or 2 months down the road, you need to take out service, you will seek that information because you would not have engaged with it earlier. So what we want to do is to make sure that you know where to find this information when you need it. You know that you can go to the JPS website, you know that you can call in X, Y, and Z. So you will find as an organization that you might be putting out information out there and it's not landing, and it's not because you're not doing a good job, it's because it's not relevant to the general audience at this point in time.
And I was trying one thing here. Sorry to interrupt, but because time's going. I was trying one thing there. You do something else which you did not mention. You use bloggers like myself to get information out. And that works. It works.
It works. It works to have multiple voices sharing your information.
Both time is
multiple
gone.
voices.
You only can say one word.
We partner with persons who help to share the JPS information, because we recognize that not all the time we get to the audience that we want to get to, but somebody else might be able to get the message to that audience. And so we welcome these partnerships with our influencers online, with bloggers,
have to
with
go now,
talk
though.
show hosts. It actually helps to partner.
And although I cutting you early, you have communicated well. God bless you. And I hope that every now and again you can come on, because you have been a fantastic lecturer and a communicator this morning. With some column, Director Corporate
Thank you,
Communications
Vernon. Have a good day.
You have a good day too. You're listening to Spot On, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. I'm Vernon Darby, so come back. Don't move.
Three Angels Pharmacy, the premier provider of quality pharmaceutical care, opens every day except Saturday. Located at shop number 7, 7B Caledonia Road, Mandeville, call 625-5584. The temperature by Three Angels Pharmacy is
29 degrees Celsius in New Kingston.
Your taxes. Let's get digital this tax season. File and pay your final income tax return for 2023 and estimated return for 2024 due on March 15 with tax support in so many ways. Start connecting with us through our web hub at jamaicatax.gov.jm, Customer Care Center 888 Tax Help, or Special Taxpayer Assistance Program. Tutorials available online. All income tax returns, including individual, must be filed online and on time by March 15. Tax Administration Jamaica, changing the way we do business.
Blessings. Have you been blessed by the Real Talk Show with Bishop Manning? Well, you can listen to the Real Talk Show Mondays to Fridays, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the Omega Radio app. Just go to your app store and look for Omega Radio, or listen live on the Omega Church Broadcasting Network website. That's www.omegachurchradio.com. You can also watch on Facebook at Omega Church. On YouTube, you can watch the live church service at Omega Church or Omega Radio. You can also call us at 876-319-1148 or 876-613-9129. The toll-free number is 877-494-0253. That was a paid advertisement by Omega Radio.
Welcome back. You're listening to Spot On with Vernon Darby, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. Yes, from that beautiful country in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. We say we're little, but we tell. It's great to have you this morning wherever you are, whether you're in Jamaica or the Caribbean Islands or in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Lauderhill, wherever you are. We really appreciate your company. And remember, you can always keep in touch. You can call 876-968-8117. That's if you're in Jamaica. 876-968-8117. If you're overseas, you can call 954-900-4310. That's 954-900-4310. The toll-free number is 877 494-0253. Let me give you that toll-free number again, 877-494-0253. That will be in the, if you're calling from the United States. And of course, the international number is 954-900-4310. Once again, you're listening to Spot On with Vernon Darby. And of course, let me see now, market prices coming up. Checking if our guest is ready. All right, market prices coming up right now. Let's see if our guest is ready. Nadine Williams. So, let's get right now. It's now, time is slipping by. It's now 10:49. I think we're probably not making link there. But let's just try one more time and get to market prices. And I hope that Nadine, if you're listening, we're trying to get through to you and trying to get market prices going. All right, I think we're having a challenge there. I tell you what I do, I probably just mention other things that we need to talk about. Is something I mentioned last week, it is very crucial. And now we have the Data Protection Act. But although we have that act, you need to act and protect your own data. Learn this. Your phone, do not lend your phone out to other persons. If anything, you call the number, hand it to them, and then you take it back. Because let me tell you something. There are codes that persons could dial on your phone. I've checked it out, and I've been told if they dial a certain code, then what can end up is that information will be forwarded from your phone to their phone. So be very careful about that. Remember what I said also, do not give your phone with information at any repair shop and leave it there, or allow them to repair it without you see what is happening. I have good information that persons are downloading your data, and I'm fully convinced that your information is being sold. And if you have your bank information on the phone and you give it out, you're in trouble. All right, let's go now. Nadine, coming up now, market prices. All right, I said Nadine is on the line. Good morning, Nadine. How are you doing? Great to have you. We don't have much time this morning, but let's get right into it, my friend. Nadine?
Good morning, Mr. Darby. Good morning, listeners.
Yes, we have to go right into it because time is very short.
Mr. Darby.
Great to have you. Morning.
Yes, and good morning, listeners. We have cabbage going for 100 to 120 per pound. We have a lot of salad, from $80 to 120, selling for $2 and $2.50 per pound. We have the purple cabbage going for $4.50 per pound. Sweet pepper is going for $2.50 per pound. A lot of tomatoes out, but the slicing is going for $2.50. The cooking is going for $1.50. After is going for $100. We have bananas for $1.50 per dozen, which is the green banana. We have ripe banana going for $3.50, $4 per dozen. Yam is going for $1.50 per pound. Sweet potato is going for $1.50, $1.80, $2 per pound. Pumpkin is $1.20. We have a lot of okra on the market. They are going for $1.50 per dozen. We have collard, we still check them up for $1.50, $200, $2.50. The size of the family. I notice the citrus are out, including the oranges. Oranges ranges from $600 to $1,000 per dozen. Lime is out, yes, but it is out. You get lime for $5 per dozen. Lemon is going for $500-$600 per dozen because of the size of the lemon. I notice grapefruit is out, which is for $2.50, $300. The grapefruit is out, Mr. Darby. Ginger for $300. A little bit of salt. Hanging around, that is going for £4. A little of cream is hanging out. The green bone is going for $10 per pound and $12 per quart. So we still have a little.
I think we have lost Nadine there. All right. Well, that's it for Nadine Williams there. And of course, you can make contact with her if you want to place any order. So, very sorry that we lost contact with Nadine. Of course, you can give her a call or probably WhatsApp her at 817 3285. So send your WhatsApp messages to her, 876 817 3285. So that's it for market prices. And it is. All right, I tell you what, before we start to end the program, let me go back over what I said before. And we're talking about there is the Data Protection Act, and that is now in place. And I gather various companies have officers who are responsible for that. But in the meantime, consumers, you have to be aware and you must learn to protect your own data. There are two places that you'll find data and your data confidential information. That is on your computers and also on your phones. And as I've said before, and I will keep on saying it because I need the word to really get out, and you can share it with others. If you're going to give your laptop out to be repaired, you must check to make sure that you do not have any confidential data on your laptop. If you do, then when you go to the repair shop, you must stand there and you must be able to see what is being done to your machine. For your telephone, the same thing. Remember, you have your girlfriend, you have your boyfriend, you have your wife's information, you have all kind of information. When you give that phone to them, it is easier for them to connect it to the computer and download all of your data. All of your data. You probably even have your passwords for your bank accounts. And sometimes we wonder how our confidential information get out. So I'm advising persons very strongly. And don't forget, even when you wipe the data from your phone or even your computer, there are means of ways of getting it. Unless you completely shred the data, and there are software to do that. When you delete a file from your computer, for example, you just simply delete, I think, probably first letter, so that it can be restored. So I'm advising my listeners to be careful with your data because quite a number of persons are talking about their passwords and everything going on. They change your password every now and again. All right, let me see now of some persons who are celebrating their birthday today. You have Michael Abrams, Dr. Michael Abrams, a gynecologist, also a comedian. Yeah, my good friend Michael, you have a wonderful day. Davian Darby, you don't have this name Darby. Quite a number of Darbys have sent their names to me, but I don't even know. If you're listening, where you are, I need to make contact because I need to know some of these Darbys, you know. You have a wonderful day. Also, Loy Foster, yes, they're in Miami, long time. I haven't heard from you, Loy. You have a wonderful day. Martin Tchaikovsky, yes, a man who is from, I think he's in Europe, I forget the country, you know, and he's a farmer now in Jamaica, leave the corporate world and he's now a farmer, and he became Farmer of the Year in Jamaica. Can you imagine, come from Friday, come here, come pick up farming? Yeah. Long time I don't talk to you, my brother. On a very sad note, Inez Binns, named McFarlane, she was born in St. Anne on October 29, 1927. She was married to James Alexander Binns. So some children we know him as Jim Binns, a very colorful politician in those days. And she lived in Woodgrove in Litchfield. To her family, her children, I think she has 2 daughters. You continue to be strong, Jackie and the rest of you. And let me see, today is World Obesity Day. Right, so but every day should be World Obesity Day because we have to watch it careful, don't put on too much weight at all. Very important because that is now a chronic disease all over the world. It affects your pressure, diabetes, you name it. So make sure that you, and I say watch your weight, or look at the belly, or watch your big belly, you know, in front of you. You need to do something about it so that you reduce your weight and reduce your fat. All right, we're coming now to the end of the program. Mr. Hoyt, thank you very much, my brother, my technical operator. Myron Boyne, Pastor Myron Boyne, thank you very much for guiding us through today's broadcast. You're listening to Spot On with Vernon Darby. I leave you with this one. Making hundreds of friends is not difficult. The difficulty is to make a single friend who will stand by your side even when hundreds are against you. Vernon Darby saying to you, I love you all Have a wonderful day. What could, my friend?
Refuge. My God, in him will I trust. God in the morning, God in the evening, my son God, a God. God in the morning is God in the evening. Master God, a God.
Oh, yes, Master God, God, as we get out of here. Come on, sing with me, Jamaica the world. Come on. Master God, God. Come on. Master God, God. Trelawney, Manchester, come on. They, Master God, God. Master God, God. Master God, God. God in the morning, God in the evening, Master God, God. I'm out of here.